I am having post DBS card game digital client depression. Yes, it is that.
Why?
So in case you missed it, this last weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we had the opportunity to play in the DBS card game digital client. And I was a little busy. I was doing stuff for BSS for their launch event. But in between, I was able to get some games in and play out through Saturday and Sunday, basically. There was a set window between 4 and 10 Pacific time, PM. And I really hope that they do this again. My guess is that they're probably going to be doing this periodically until the actual release, which no one really knows. Hopefully it is no later than next year. But I have no idea. And if anything, I hope they have like beta testing every other month or even every month. And that would be really good. Overall, I had a really good time just playing the beta. It was pretty much everything that I really hoped for, and as well as I was just happy to see it. You know, as someone who has been playing since set 2 and have been making videos, hundreds of videos for the last like 4 or 5 years at this point about the game, it is really cool to see something come into fruition and something that is actually nice and fun, interactive, and just like happy to actually share, because it would have been really disappointing if it wasn't. Like, if it was really janky, it didn't have any features, it didn't have any like it had a lot of issues, that type of thing. The only major issue was I think they had to go through maintenance because everyone, including myself, was trying to get in and we couldn't get in. It just kept getting stuck on loading, whatever it may be, right? But they immediately fixed that within a couple hours, and then they extended the period for the time. And during that time, outside of me not being able to swing and then untap energy for Soul Striker, like it allowed me to swing at their leader, but then it didn't give me the option to untap energy, and that was not cool. Outside of that, like there wasn't really many issues, if at all, like any bugs, anything that was super major. So I was super happy to see that. Super happy to see the turnaround time. And overall, it seemed like a lot of people are happy. So let me know in the comments below if you're able to actually play it, and as well as what your thoughts were. Obviously, you probably would have seen me live or with someone recording, or use like some b-roll of the actual footage. But I didn't record. Didn't really have the opportunity to because I was at the venue anyway. But I wouldn't really risk it anyway, since I think this game and the actual digital game, if I had to take a guess, are managed completely separately. So like most games, like let's say for Master Duel, is completely separate from the TCG, right? So I guess it's the same thing here. So I wouldn't really want to take the risk. But if anything, what I really want to do is actually go through the trailer one more time like I did in the previous video, and kind of talk through and confirm the things that I saw and what I want to improve or add, if anything. Okay, here is the long version of that trailer that I was talking about before. Pretty much all the stuff that we've seen in the actual trailer, it really was in the beta. I think they just used most of the things that you found in the beta for the trailer. So it wasn't anything that was kind of a surprise outside of just like expanding on what we already knew. So like when you boot up the game, it goes into the tutorial. I think there's 2 different tutorials just to explain the game, energy, how phases work, and things like that. I think there weren't very many opportunities to counter, and there weren't any counter plays. So I think my best guess is that they want to make sure that they bring in as many people as they can, and counterplays, counters, and like just complicated rulings, and even if this is automated, is kind of daunting, right? Which is why we'll talk about in a second why you see Soul Striker here, and as well as Crit Vegeta, because we have all of the but a good amount of set 1 and as well as set 2 cards, where we didn't have Bean, we didn't have Bad Ring, we didn't have anything else like that, but we did have this Vegito too. So one of the things that is really cool, so we have this tournament, I think Tenkaichi, I think this is just the Tenkaichi regular ass stage here, but there were a lot of other stages that we actually had access to, which I was super happy about. I actually talked about in my original video as far as my first impressions and just like wish list, where I wanted a lot of different locations and different effects and things like that. When we got that, we actually got like Cell Games, we got this one, we got Capsule Corp, we had Planet Namek, which was super cool to see all of the assets and stuff like that go around. These are your leaders, so like I'm guessing that every single leader is going to have a single animation, or their own animation, which hopefully has been already, which I'll go back to this in a second, hopefully has already been created, knowing, well, not knowing, but like assuming that this has been in fruition since maybe a couple of years ago at least. So maybe it was in development for a long time, maybe it was in a short time, and maybe they're just expanding on it this year. Who knows? But I know there's probably gonna be a lot of programming going into it, a lot of development going into it, not only for the animation and assets, but also for the automation and rulings and how things work back and forth. But for the leaders, it's a little concerning because we have a lot of leaders and we have a lot of unique leaders, right? So we have like Meki Kabora, we have like different versions of Broly, we have different versions of Goku, so many of them, a lot of different versions of Vegeta. We have fusion like Gotens and stuff like that, which I think there are a couple of leaders that start defuse and then refuse. I think there's like Veku that turns into Gogeta. So I'm very curious to see how their awaken is, because these, like, every single time that you flip over, there's an option to flip, you can awaken, right? So I am very very interested to see if they are going to do like a fusion like awaken type thing, right? Go against the world. So there is a ranked as far as I know. So there's like solo play, and then there's multiplayer, right? So confirm. The game is all about going against each other and like playing against each other, right? So I would say it is confirmed that we're gonna have like a ranked system and then like a non-ranked system. That's fine. I still want like different queues and things like that where we can play different formats. And I talked about it so many times over the weekend when we were playing this. George, Hayden, everybody else on the team were there, where I was like, I want, like, if they're not gonna do like in a standard format or like the current format where they digitally errata stuff and they just fix stuff automatically instead of just like banning things or whatever, I would love that to be a different format. So like, let's say Soul Striker would get a draw one when unawakened, or let's say I don't know, literally any of the cards that we used to play, like the 2-drops, 1-drops, whatever, would get slight buffs, right, to be playable in the entire pool, because it depends on what they actually give us. So we'll see it in a second as far as like the deck builder, but we really had access to set 1, set 2 cards, and then like random set like 6 cards, set 9 cards, stuff like that, like the swing Take a Life to Doria, and as well as Vegeta blue and green. We had the Vegito that is the polymorphic, I think the pay 1 and the pay 2 out, and then you can't play cards outside Vegito cards, which is helping the Vegito deck, I guess. So that, I mean, that's basically what we saw. Now the interface, before I go like all over the place with the card pool, the interface was really cool. So if I just go like this, I think this is probably better. So to break down the entire thing, this is the info for the leader, I do believe, or the current card. These are settings, obviously. This is the history, if I'm not mistaken. This is cards in deck, warp, drop, and then cards in hand. Cards in hand will be displayed down here, and then this is your energy. So like this is 0 out of 0 energy for him, and then like 12 out of 41 energy, which is crazy. There's an auto thing in which if you drag and drop, it actually selects the energy for you, and then it'll confirm. You have to confirm the energy, which I definitely I would prefer, because a lot of energy might, like, there's some decks that play off energy, and then, like, you know, I feel like you're playing Gamma or something like that. You don't want to tap certain energy for others, or if you do tap certain energy for others, you want to make sure you use that energy and then tap another to use that and then play it from energy or whatever, right? So you can drag out, and then it'll confirm, and then it'll do stuff like that. Every battle card will be played in the field. There's no energy in the field, so I think there was a point where there's no FPS issues. Thankfully, there's no FPS issues. I had 0. There were some, I think, for like slower machines or things that didn't have like good graphics cards that had slower FPS, but that was just what it was. Broly's big as hell, dude. Like he's huge on the screen. Like he's big. Him and Zamasu, Setsuna Zamasu, is they were huge. We didn't see any of these cards in here. We did see Constant Hope. We didn't see any of the reboot cards. Didn't see this one. There were just like random set 9, set 8, set 9, 6 cards that were in here. Which I don't really get, but I guess they were just like, we're just gonna add these, and hopefully it'll speed up the game a little bit. That's my guess. And then the deck builder, you can have up to 100 decks, which is cool. Cards in possession and all cards. I don't think we had this tab, and if we did, I think it showed all the cards that you have access to. I think there was like 100 or so in total in the card pool, and then there's like grayed out cards. So that was pretty cool. Now the other stuff, this is just pretty much the same thing that, I mean, this is just a regular deck builder. You just name it. You go home or you go back or whatever, right? There's not really too much else that to explain there. And then yeah, I mean, it's really cool. The animations for taking life or hitting or doing damage, this is like your ending animation. Some people are complaining about like there's animations are so like pointless or whatever, maybe I just want to play the game. I'm sure there's going to be a way to turn it off. I don't think there was a way to turn it off from what I saw and what other people said. So I would imagine there, based on feedback, there's going to be an option to turn off the animations anyway. I think it is going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because some people will have the animations on, and that might take longer for them versus someone who don't have animations on, right? So if anything, I like the animations, and they're really only small animations when they like clash against each other or attacking different cards. They do like key blast or whatever. The big animations like are for awakening, for different skills, and as well as taking life or winning the game. So those animations do come in. These like counter animations and things like that, they still happen. And it's interesting to see the different parts of the phases, like counter, and then like offensive step, defensive step. It shows you on the screen as you go. And again, more animations. I don't think there's anything else that was anything that we didn't see already in the beta. So overall, really cool. I'm pretty sure I didn't miss anything. There is a timer, but I think there are certain times that they probably should have a timer. Like if you mulligan, you can just sit on the mulligan screen forever. But if you're in the turns, I'm pretty sure there's a turn timer for that. But there's it's like random places where you can just sit there forever, and there's like no consequence to that. By the way, if they don't, if Syriax did a video on the card game and it's not taking down, then I highly doubt that anybody else would get in trouble for it. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, so playing the actual format was interesting. It reminded me a lot of like just like GOAT format without Mecha Frieza, without Super Saiyan 3, right? Without the draft box stuff. I'm sure we'll get that stuff in the actual release. Like they'll probably have like set 1 to 3, and we'll kind of build from there, and hopefully the monetization wouldn't be too crazy. The best deck, in my opinion, in that format, that very small format, was anything blue-green. I played blue-green Soul Striker, and as well as blue-green Vegeta. I preferred Vegeta, even though Soul Striker won me more games, even though I didn't really play that much, if anything. And also, I had some disconnection issues. I did. George will let you know that on his computer, it was a lot of losses. No. I was winning those, and I got DC'd, so I don't want to hear it. Either way, best deck for that. I'm not going to post my list. There's not really a point. It's the beta testing. If the beta comes back, I'll post my list and make a video on it, especially if it's the same stuff. But if it's not the same stuff, and then we have like up to set 4 or 5 or whatever, it's gonna be pretty cool to see that change up. Hopefully we can stream it, or at least like based on obviously some of the stuff I've seen. I'm just gonna stream, like whatever. Either way, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.